Hey guys, and welcome to The Girl with the Shovel. Today we are talking about some of the easiest houseplants to grow indoors. So yes, even if you're a total plant killer, you can definitely pick up and grow some of these houseplants in your home. I say that these are all the easiest houseplants to keep alive, but remember, not every single one will kind of match your style, your method of care, and your house conditions. So make sure if you get one and you don't do very well with it, and maybe it dies, maybe it just doesn't look good, try a different one. Try one with different requirements. Try one with different light requirements, different water requirements, and you might just find one that is super easy for you to take care of. So if one of these doesn't go well, just move on to the next one. So the first houseplant I have for you is one of my personal favorites. It is the Pothos, or Pothos, however you want to say it. The Pothos, and it is just an amazing vining houseplant that really does well indoors. Whether you overwater or underwater, this plant really can tolerate a lot of different conditions, with low light up to bright light. If you struggle with your watering, the Pothos is amazing because you can just put it in one of the self-watering pots and it loves it. It will grow so well for you in a self-watering pot, and that way you don't have to keep guessing. So if you struggle with watering, definitely get yourself a Pothos. And there's so many varieties out there now. There's the golden, the marble queen, the jade, the neon, the Civet blue, the Baltic blue, the satin pothos, the pearls and jade pothos. I mean, there are so many different varieties, so you are sure to find one that you like. And then the second houseplant that I recommend for people who are beginners or who struggle with their indoor plants is the philodendron, but not just any philodendron. I recommend the vining philodendrons. Okay, the vining philodendrons I found are so much easier to keep alive. They're very similar to the Pothos, where they are very forgiving. You can have irregular watering, you can put it in low light, and they still do well. So some of these are your Heartleaf philodendron, your Velvet philodendron, and your Brazil varieties. Those are the easiest ones that I definitely recommend. And then for the people who really overwater their plants, we have the Lucky Bamboo. Now, Lucky Bamboo actually grows in straight water, so there's no guessing for this. You can just put it straight in water, don't have the water all the way up the stems, but just barely above those roots, and you will be great. The Lucky Bamboo does well in several different light conditions. Just the only thing I found is watch out for spider mites in the winter. And then another houseplant that is amazing for beginners is English ivy. Now, English ivy does great in low light conditions. That's one of the things that I love about English ivy, and especially the darker green leaf varieties. They grow and it seems like they don't get any light. They can grow in just fluorescent lights, and it is just super easy to care for. The next plant I have is spider plants. Now, spider plants I hear do well with lots of water. So if you tend to overwater, this is another good one for you. And then also, don't mess with it a lot. I've noticed my spider plant, anytime that I mess with it or my cat gets into it, it looks kind of sad for a while. Whereas my cat gets into some of my other ones and they bounce back pretty fast. This one, just kind of leave it on the top shelf, forget about it, just make sure it gets enough water, and you'll be great. Next is the peace lily. Now, I'm sure you've all seen those cool videos of the peace lilies that are all droopy and then they come suddenly back to life. That is because people forget to water them. When you forget to water your peace lily, it will literally show you that it's all wilted and it'll say, hey, I'm not cool here. And then you water it and then it'll be like, boop, I'm back. Hello, wonderful, I like you again. So if you forget to water your houseplant, peace lily might just be for you because it definitely shows signs. And then when you do water it, because you see, oh my goodness, this is like super wilted, then you can water it and it'll be great again. So that and the Pothos, they both do that really well, and they're very forgiving if you forget about them. So if that's you who tends to forget about their houseplants, a peace lily might just be for you. Next is snake plants. Snake plants are amazing because they also do really well in low light up to bright light. I have one outdoors on my porch right now. It's doing great. And then it also does well with low water. Honestly, if you water it too much, this guy will die. So if you tend to overwater, I wouldn't say get a snake plant. I'd say get one of these other ones. But if you tend to forget and you just want a super low maintenance houseplant that also could do well in low light, then definitely get yourself a snake plant. Next is the ASPIDISTRA or cast iron plant. Now the cast iron plant actually does very well in home settings, though it's usually sold as an outdoor plant. But the ASPIDISTRA is well known for tolerating a lot of abuse. Now, I know that they used to be planted all over in like malls and stuff because people like hit them, knock them over, you know, lots of stuff. They forget to water, low light, all this stuff, and the ASPIDISTRA does great still. So if you're looking for something that can get some abuse, that doesn't need much water, that can go with whatever, and also does well in low light, all of this stuff, if you just want a super hardy plant, that's why it's called the cast iron plant, because it seems to be like just undamageable, if that's even a word, undamageable. So if you want a houseplant that can just tolerate whatever you throw at it, definitely get an ASPIDISTRA. And then we have the ZZ plant. Now ZZ plants do great in low light. They're really well known for low light. But then we also have the Raven ZZ that has come out and has been super popular in the last couple of years. So much so that now they are being sold, I think, more often than the regular green ZZ plant. But either way, if you get a Raven, a lot of people have said that they just don't see it grow much. And a big thing for that is because they usually have it in low light. So if you move it into a little bit brighter light, like a medium indirect sunlight, then you'll see more growth from your Raven. But if you don't care, you just want something in that corner, they do well in low light. But also make sure that you don't overwater this plant. This is also one that it's a semi-succulent. So if you give it too much water or you don't have good drainage, it can die on you. But if you're one that tends to forget about their houseplants, wants something low maintenance, then a ZZ could also be for you. The next plant on my list is an aloe vera plant. Now an aloe vera also has those medicinal properties, which I'm sure you all know about, you know, aloe vera for sunburns and such. But if you want one in your home, the only thing is to make sure that it is in well-draining soil. I would recommend just buying one of those cactus and succulent mixes so you don't have to worry about it yourself. Buy a cactus and succulent mix, put it in that, put it in a pot that drains or like a terracotta pot or whatever, and then put it in a sunny window and it will love you. So that leads us on to our next group of houseplants is cacti. Now cacti do great once again in that cactus and succulent soil and in a well-draining pot and in a bright sunny window. So put it in your south-facing windows, somewhere you get a lot of warm sunlight, okay? And then it'll be fine, you know? They don't like a lot of water and they just sit there and look great, and every now and again they'll flower. So it's wonderful. I will say though, with cacti, do not get those two-tone cacti, you know, the ones with the green on the bottom and the colorful cactus on top. Those actually are two cacti stuck together. They're kind of fused and they can be more tricky. So I would not suggest those. If you want an easy cactus, definitely go with the ball cacti, the ones that just look like a little ball. And those I've found to be the easiest type of cacti to keep alive. My next houseplant is AGLAONEMAs. AGLAONEMAs are also known as Chinese evergreen, and they are gorgeous. They have silver leaves, red leaves, pink leaves. They've just got so many colors, and they're vibrant and beautiful, and they're very forgiving. I mean, my dog pretty much tore one apart, and just based off of the root system, it's regrowing. Like, it legit had 0 leaves left, and I just kept it in a pot and gave it a little bit of water, and it is growing back. And it's alive. So that just tells you a little bit about how forgiving these guys are. They go between bright to medium light. I wouldn't do low light or else you'd lose those colors. But they also do well with different watering. So they're very forgiving with their water. Just give it a little bit more light. And then my next group, once again, a group of houseplants is your Echeverias. They're also called hen and chicks. You'll find them in most of your local gardening stores. If they have a succulent section, I am betting they have quite a few different types of Echeverias. Now, Echeverias are great because they love the sun, but they don't look like a cactus. So they're kind of your bright, colorful, sun-loving, drought-tolerant houseplants. And they have so many different varieties. If you're looking for something that you can have a lot of, that they all kind of take the same kind of care, and you have lots of different variety, then think about getting some Echeverias. The one thing that I'll say though is people who live in very cold climates might have issues with their succulents. So the Echeverias, the cactus, the aloe vera, those are the ones that I've listed so far in the winter time. Okay, that's because wintertime temperatures drop, and putting them right next to that window, they can get colder. But then if you bring them away, they also just don't get enough sunlight. And then also if you have very dark winters, you might need to get a plant light for these guys, or just get a different type of houseplant that can kind of tolerate some lower light levels in the winter. My next houseplant that is super easy to care for is the SCHEFFLERA, or the umbrella tree. Now, I know these ones also have been kind of dying in popularity, and I don't think they should because they're super easy to take care of. Now, they don't have that many varieties. They have some larger leaf varieties and smaller leaf, and then they do have some variegated varieties. So they have like the markings on the leaf. But these guys are really easy to take care of. I've noticed that a lot of the plants in the nursery look a little bushy, and I tend to trim them up a little bit, and then they look amazing. And then I wanted to add in the easiest type of palm to grow indoors. Now, palm isn't typically on your list of easiest to care for houseplants, and that's because we have like the Majesty palm that is very well known for people buying and it dying. So I would recommend, instead of a Majesty palm, you go ahead and get a cat palm. And these are the palms that have like lots of different fronds inside the pot. Now, the cat palm is a lot easier to take care of, but I have noticed that it usually comes with spider mites. So when you first buy it, keep it away from your other houseplants and just treat it right away for spider mites, because it most likely has them. And then you should be fine. After you get rid of spider mites on it, then it will be super happy for you and will be very forgiving as an indoor palm. Then we have the Anthurium. Now, Anthurium is slightly more difficult, but I'm just saying that because a lot of people want it to bloom. If you want your Anthurium to bloom, then it is going to need to have a little bit better care, and you need to watch out for it a bit more. But if you're fine with it just being green and just being greenery in your home, I found the Anthurium just is that ultimate just sit there and it takes whatever it can get kind of plant. So if you want color, I would suggest you go more with like your AGLAONEMA, your Chinese evergreens, and those will give you more color. But if you just want something green, just want a houseplant, you can get an Anthurium. And then last but definitely not least, we have one of my personal favorites, the ponytail palm. the ponytail palm is very just adorable. I love this little guy because he's just like so cute. And so the ponytail palm is also a semi-succulent, so it can dry out. The biggest killer is overwatering, so if you overwater, don't get a ponytail palm. Get, you know, the pothos or the lucky bamboo or the spider plant. But if you're looking for something low maintenance, then get a ponytail palm. They are gorgeous. And I will say though, if you have cats, don't get a ponytail palm. Cats like to chew on them and play with them, and I can't blame them because they're like super bouncy. The leaves are just kind of bouncy, and so yes, the cats love them, and then they'll chew off all the leaves. The ponytail palm is definitely for beginners, and it will look beautiful for you and just so much fun. This is just a fun houseplant to have in your home. So that is it for my list of easy indoor houseplants. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments below which ones are your favorite, which ones you want to try out, and maybe even let me know if you didn't have success with some of these. Those are fun stories too. We need to talk about it more because that's the reality. When you're starting out, you don't always have success right away. And it is okay. We totally get it. Just try out a different one. There are plenty of houseplants to try. And then if you're still struggling, go ahead and join us in the Facebook group Houseplants for Plant Killers, where we are there to help each other out and to encourage each other on our journey. And if you want more information about some of these houseplants, go ahead and check out my website where I talk about different care tips for each of these houseplants individually. And if you like this video, go ahead and hit the thumbs up and subscribe button, and we will see you in the next video. Whew. That was a lot of fun.